Oh, man. Gonna be way better tomorrow. An esophagram. I was told all I was going to have to do was swallow a barium tablet because I'm taking my pills and they're getting stuck. Like, sometimes they'll get stuck here, sometimes right in the middle, and then sometimes down here. So I was set up for an esophagram, and I show up thinking all I have to do is swallow a barium tablet, and that was not at all how it worked. So I show up, got my awesome, hospital bracelets, had to change into a gown, which wasn't ridiculously out of norm, I guess, but it was still a little bit weird. And my IR tech that was in there with me, his name was Charles, he was so nice, and we were just chit-chatting about stuff, whatever. I was having a bad day, so I was sitting down and he was getting stuff ready for the big radiologist to come in so we could get started. And then he tells me it was actually the same table, like exam table, that I had my tube study done. I was so anyways, but it was upright. So when I had my tube study done, it was like a table, so I'm laying on the table, kind of like the scanner like moves over your abdomen, and there's like a partition on one side, so but it's stood up, so I didn't even recognize it honestly when we started. And so I ended up having to stand on like the human, it looks like a tilt table test, honestly, excuse me. So it looks like an L, like a people dolly, so you stand on it. And then I ended up having to drink like all this barium. It was so gross. Oh my gosh, it was so gross. Some of the worst barium I think I've ever had, and I've had to do several swallow studies, and it was super gross. So I had to drink that stuff, which was bad enough. I was NPO since midnight the night before, but the day before I'd had a really bad day, and so I think the last time I ate something was like the day before, probably 3 in the afternoon. So dumping, and I couldn't take my meds that morning, so no anti-nausea. It was a really rough day. So I swallowed all the barium, and then you have to like turn sideways and turn front, and then they like lower the table so you're laying down for part of it, and you have to like drink it out of a straw, so that gravity's not helping your esophagus like move stuff along. And I'm drinking stuff, whatever, and he was like, do you always swallow like that? And I was like what? And he was like, it takes you a long time to swallow. And I was like, just depends on what it is. I said, sometimes it's okay, and then sometimes it's not, just like everything else. And he was like, yeah, your swallowing is totally delayed. And I was like, well, it probably explains why I'm choking on my meds sometime and they're getting stuck and whatnot. Worse off the dehydration is, the worse off I have trouble with swallowing. So then I had to do this stuff called crystallized barium. So you have like a little, like, if you've ever been in the hospital, they have these little like medication cups, and they're tiny little things, almost like what you would make a Jell-O shot out of. So it's a little bitty cup, and there was some water in it, and then Charles would be next to me, and he would throw the crystallized barium in the water, and then I would have to like drink it as fast as possible, because then it produces all of this air and it blows up your stomach to try to see what's happening and where stuff is going and whatnot. So I did it once, And then you start having the urge to belch because of all that gas that's in your stomach. But you can't burp because it messes up the test. So you have to keep swallowing like repeatedly. Oh, so awful. And then the results were messed up, and so we had to do it again. And I mean, oh my gosh, I almost cried like 3 times during the test. I was so miserable. Almost puked twice. They had to get out Emmy bags, so I start puking. And they were like, just breathe, you know, just breathe. And, screw you. I'm not just going to breathe. I'm so tired of all of this. And, oh, and then I had to finally swallow the barium tablet. That was like, it was like the bonus round of awful, because I already had so much barium in my system and all the extra gas and no food and no medication to try to help things stay in the right direction. But I knew my tube felt weird, so I am so panicked right now not to get sick, because I'm afraid I'm going to puke the tube up, and then I can't plan anything like to have it fixed. It'll be an emergency basis at that point, and I would have no control over the situation, which is less good for me. So we did all the things, swallowed the tablet. I actually got stuck 3 different times going down. So I was done, and at one point, like during the test, I'm standing up, and like the machine is in front of me. It has little flappy doos on this side, and it's in front of me, and like I have my hand on it and my head on my hand, just trying to keep all of it going in the right direction. Oh, it was so miserable. And then I got done, and I went into the bathroom and changed, you know, back into regular clothes, still trying not to cry because I was so upset. Like it wasn't at all what I expected, and I'm glad that I didn't know how bad it was going to be, because I would have been more freaked out. So ignorance is bliss, definitely, sometimes. And so I come out of the room, and like, so I'm standing up on the thing is in front of me when I was having the test, and then right over to the side there's like this workstation, and it's like this rolly around cart, and it's whatever is fed into the machine, or the machine is fed into. And the screen on top, like there's a big huge monitor on the top, and it shows you all the scans and all the things that's like being recorded. And so I come out of the bathroom, and I was facing the monitor when I walked out of the bathroom, and I was like, are those still my scans? Charles was still in there with me, and he was like, oh yes, those are still yours. And so I asked him, I was like, can you bring one up full screen, like with as much barium in it as possible? And he was like, yeah, sure. And so he brings it up full screen for me, and I can see my tubes messed up. And it was like I saw it, I was good, I left. There's a cafe right outside the imaging center. It's all in one building, but it's outside that area. And so I sat down, and I literally had to take like 20 minutes to like calm down before I could get back in the car, because I still had to get home. I still had to pick up Miniman, still had to get to work. It was a very rough day. And then just a few hours after that, my GI messaged me, and she was like, you know, everything's the same dysmotility that we already know about. And she was like, and your tube's completely flipped. She's like, it's 99% back in your stomach again. And she was like, you really need to contact Dr. XYZ to schedule the direct J surgery, because we'd already decided that if this one flipped again, I'm not having it exchanged. We're just going to move forward with the other surgery. So I have not responded to that message. That was 2 days ago. And then so that was Friday. So yesterday was Saturday. Saturday morning, I flushed my tubes. They're still flushable. I could still drain out of my stomach. And then I did it again last night, and it was okay, but felt a little weird. And this morning when I got up, I couldn't drain my stomach, and I couldn't flush through my J. So it is completely inoperable right now, which is super frustrating because I feel super sick. So I really want one more thing in place until I make that decision and when and schedule it all. The idea of going through that surgery is incomprehensible to my brain. One part, I know it's the right decision. I have no qualms about it being the right decision. This will give me much more freedom to be able to care for my body better. It will give me an easier access to get stuff out of my stomach if I have to. It gives me direct access to my small intestine, and I can feed in it without fear of messing up the tube, of flipping it, of folding it, of yanking it all back in my stomach. It will eliminate the reason, or it'll eliminate how awful it is once it's flipped, because my stomach hurts. Like, it goes in, hold on. So here's my tube. You can almost see me here. Let me just do it this way. So my tube is here, and what happens is it gets pulled back. Like, the tube's supposed to go this way and then around here and stop on this side. So right now the tube is in there, and it makes this gigantic loop in my stomach, and then all the rest of it is kind of like yanked over here, so it ends about right there. And I can feel where it is inside, because I can feel when it was flushing. So this will eliminate that possibility of all of the tubing getting trapped in my stomach. I will be able to stop panicking if I get sick. It will be 2 stomas that I have to care for, which is not ideal. And there's a lot not ideal about this. But with how bad the side effects were during the first surgery and after the first surgery, and then months after the first surgery, I am petrified to have another surgery. It's literally going to be like 3 inches to the left and maybe an inch down, but my ribs are so close because I'm so small. Super not excited about this. Oh man. Just one thing needs to be easy. I sure haven't found that one thing yet. So, my tube is messed up. My swallowing is messed up. My esophagus is messed up. My stomach is messed up. My intestines are messed up. Dehydration is still kicking my ass. I did have an infusion yesterday. So at one point today, I realized my lips weren't chapped for, like, I know it's something so stupid, but a little bit of normalcy is pretty amazing right now. Oh, man. Gonna be way better tomorrow. Love you guys.